Now, see, when we talk about steps into the scientific research, what is the step? The first step is you should pose a question. Understand that until and unless you do not have a question, just a minute. Okay. So the first step, first we should have question. Just a minute. Hmm. So first step is pose a question. You should have a question. Then when a question come in your mind, actually the research question is a research problem. Thereafter we study about that question. So this we do the extensive literature review and see when we are reading the literature review we are confirmed yes this particular question is not been taken by some other researcher, so this is a novel idea. Then thereafter we build that yes this particular result could be there, so that is the hypothesis. And thereafter we may conduct the experiment or we use the experimental data which is background for new research project. Then after doing that particular experiment we find out yes whether this experiment, see, not necessarily whatever experiments we do we will get the success out of that experiment. Say example, fortunately you are successful doing that particular experiment, so simply we will do the data analysis, है ना? Whatever data you got, then whatever data you got you are going to do the interpretation of that particular data, and thereafter you will find the interference for that particular data. Yes, these are the results. Then we write down the result and we support that particular hypothesis. Yes, whatever we assume that particular hypothesis is approved or rejected. So once the hypothesis supports or approved, so we publish that particular research, and that particular step is called as the dissemination of the data. Then if this result do not support to our hypothesis or it just partially support that particular hypothesis, so we use that experimental data as a background for new research project. Yes, this experiment is failed, we can do this particular experiment in so and so manner, and we reject our hypothesis. Then we pose new question, we make new hypothesis, and we conduct the new set of the experiment, and again after developing a new hypothesis we revise the step. So if we after doing that we get the result, so we publish the result, or if we do not get the result we reject the hypothesis and we start with a new query. Understood? So this is the case when our experiment is successful. Understood? But if the experiment is failed, so we correct the experimental protocol, we check all the step and setup that whether we have done or not. Then again we conduct that particular experiments and we follow the steps. So in general we can say the research the first step of research is to identify the research problem, and as soon as we identify the research problem we just do the review of the literature, and after doing the review we confirm yes this research is novel, it is not been repeated, and we formulate the new research hypothesis, and after that we test the hypothesis. How do we test the hypothesis? By preparing the research design and doing the experimentation. It is not necessary that you will be doing the experimentation into the library. It could be done in the form of survey, in the form of interview, in the form of the questionnaire or anything. And thereafter we just document the data whatever uh, components you got, we are just documenting, and that is thereafter we are doing the analysis of the data and interpretation of the data, and at last we do the dissemination of the data. That means we publish it. Now see, research can be published, dissemination of the data can be done into the various form, like you can publish it into the research paper in the form of report or anything. So this is all about the scientific step into the research. So next lecture we will be discussing about the dissemination of the data. So for this note we will stop for now.